and possibly the 2027 election. I told you one time while I was on Hard Facts that you should begin to prepare. One of those my unpopular opinion back then. You should begin to prepare for the 2027 election. Some of you berated me for bringing up that conversation. I think it was immediately after the election. And some of you say, why would I say such a thing? That you are yet to recuperate from the election that just happened. That why would I tell you to begin to prepare for 2027? But look at the politicians. Some of them know that after now, they might not come back. We'll talk about this in detail. Let's not already begin the discussions. But you want to stay tuned because that will come your way by 5 after the news update. 6 o'clock, the major news. After the major news at 6, we will come back for the open season. And you get to talk about all of the things that we would have discussed on the show for today. I can't wait to start. I can't wait to have that conversation with you because I'm of the opinion that if you look beyond the surface and go deeper into the conversation, you would see that we are helping change our society and making it a better place. All right. That being said, let's go into the meat of the conversation for this particular hour. And my unpopular opinion, I have tagged it the 12 flyovers and what could have been. I have tagged my unpopular opinion today as the 12 flyovers and what could have been. As you already know, one of the biggest achievements of the outgoing administration here in Rivers State, I'm talking about the executive arm of government, is that they were able to build 12 flyovers in the space of 4 years. And they have talked about how it is such a gigantic achievement. Now, I'm not going to place the comparison. I'm not going to place side by side the governor of Ebonyi State and the governor of Rivers State. No, I know a lot of you are doing that already, but that's not what the focus of this conversation is. And I'm mentioning that to let you know that I know that Ebonyi State governor or government did something similar, built a couple of flyovers. As a matter of fact, even more flyovers than was built in Rivers State. But that's not the focus of my conversation. I am only mentioning that this outgoing administration in Rivers State has, on several occasions, mentioned that one of its greatest achievements is the beautification of the capital, Port Harcourt, and the easing of traffic with the 12 flyovers. And one of the reasons I decided to pick this conversation is I was going through Rumokoro and I realized on Saturday was that you could still see traffic build up under the flyover. The roundabout there at Rumokoro, you could still see traffic build up. I also discovered, where was that again now? Oh, my memory is not serving me well. There was some other place where I also did notice traffic build up. And then I began asking myself, how much did we use to build one flyover? If you look back to some of the statements made by the governor when he was flagging off the construction of some of these flyovers, he said that the least that was spent for a flyover is somewhere around the region of 7 billion naira. I need you to take your pen and take a sheet of paper because we'll be doing a lot of calculations today, because I want to know what could have been. So please do take up a pen and a sheet of paper. If you have a notepad on your phone, please open it because we would be doing a lot of calculations. I'm taking my pen and sheet of paper now, so you do the same. All right. So 7 billion naira, the least spent for one flyover. Now, Business Day did say in one of its publication that 69 billion naira was spent to build 9 flyovers. At a time when it was just 9 flyovers, Business Day did a research and they found out that 69 billion had been spent to build 9 flyovers. So if I was to go with the average of 7 billion, I would have arrived at 70 billion naira for 10 flyovers. But Business Day's article at the time calculated 69 for 9 flyovers, which could mean that for some flyovers, it was more than the 7 billion naira year max. And then I realized that in certain places, there was the dualization of the road, right? All right. So if we were to use the average of 7 billion naira for each flyover, you multiply it by 12, what would it give you? Somewhere around the region of 84 billion naira. 84 billion naira. Now, I have used these flyovers, and I must say that both the River State government and the contractors, or the contractor, because it's just one person or one company, they must be commended for a job well done. The flyovers are smooth. I mean, somehow it has eased traffic. I don't know if you agree with that, but somehow it has eased traffic, and it has beautified Port Harcourt and Obiakpo by extension. However, I'm looking at the state. Unemployment is high. I'm looking at the state. We could have done so much to beat Lagos to becoming the economic hub or the economic capital of Nigeria or even Africa. I'm looking at the state, and with all the potentials that we have, we could have been competing with places like Dubai. I'm looking at the state, and I'm wondering, could we have done more? I mean, I commend the governor and the contractor once again for doing an amazing job. And you know, when you're ungrateful, when you are an ungrateful person, you tend to block the things that can come your way. Even if you are entitled to those things, if you are an ungrateful person, you tend to block it. So I'm staying grateful this afternoon, and I'm saying, oh, what wonderful flyovers, all 12 of them. You know, it started with Garrison. First of all, Garrison was, I think they built a roundabout. That's what they call it, right? And then, you know, after a few months, they said, no, it wasn't good enough. And so they broke that one down, and then they decided to build a flyover. And then we went to Jerry Junction. I mean, you've been in River State, so you know the 12 flyovers, right? And then I'm thinking, what if we had gone to Bonny Island and built a modular refinery there? And so maybe we could just easily get some of the products from NLNG. I remember one time the governor said something about obtaining the shares in one of the OMLs in River State, the Ogoni Access. We could have done a modular refinery, right? And we would not have spent, or maybe we would have just spent that amount, 84 billion or something more, slightly more. And that would have employed River State youths. That would have helped the economy of the state, because then if really we bought some, or we obtained the rights to the OML, then we could have had an arrangement where a bit of what we would have produced be sent to our modular refinery, and then fuel will be so cheap in River State. Or better still, just like Orderly's administration attempted to do, we could have invested so much in power generation. And you know, it was recently that they somehow allowed states to have some participation in the power sector, right? We could have, at the time, gone into some agreement with the power companies, and they would have been supplying us more electricity. That would have attracted investors, right? That would have attracted. Imagine you just go to somewhere like HA, or even Bonny Island has got constant power supply. We could have, sold those places to investors, and investors would have come, given the high rate of production, the high cost of production in Nigeria. I mean, if you remove power supply or reduce the cost of power supply to the barest minimum, investors would have come into River State. I mean, this is just me thinking what could have been. My unpopular opinion, by the way. And then I decided to check, how much would it have cost to build a modular refinery? Then I saw an article by Calvin Ibiri, who is a special assistant to the governor on new media. And once upon a time, he interviewed a professor from the University of Port Harcourt, and they were talking about the oil sector. And at the time, I think it was 2017, the professor said that it would take somewhere within the region of 100 to 200 million US dollars to build a modular refinery, depending on the capacity of barrels per day. And then I did the maths. If we use the official price, which is somewhere around the region of 450 to 480 460 to 480 naira to $1, you would get a modern refinery for somewhere around 45 to 90 billion naira. We could have afforded it. Anyways, I once spoke to the then Commissioner for Energy and Natural Resources once upon a time, and he said the River State government is working on that. But what could have been? That's the question I want to ask this afternoon. What could have been with the money used for building flyovers? I go for a quick commercial break. When I come back, I take your calls.
To wait till I graduate from this school before I think of what to do with my life.
Exactly. I am going to seriously work on my music skills. Let me use my talent well, I beg.
I would like to be a radio presenter, but I don't know how to go about it.
But why is Timmy so quiet today?
Sorry, you can also learn how to become a radio presenter on Wazobia Academy.
Wazobia Academy?
Yes, Wazobia Academy provides accessible and affordable online training in filmmaking, music business, fashion, radio hosting, and lots more. You also stand a chance to be selected for internship in leading production companies, radio stations, music, and fashion studios for hands-on experience. It's easy. Simply log on to www.wazobiaacademy.com or call 0908-826-5038 for more details.
Wazobia Academy. Learn and lead.
You're tuned to your number one talk station, Nigeria Info. Welcome back to the show.
All right, so what could have been? Don't get me wrong. I'm not an ungrateful person. I mean, if you're just joining and you heard me talk, you probably think that I'm ungrateful. But anyways, welcome if you're just joining us. 26 minutes can pass the hour. This is today's edition of Hard Facts. I am Kalada. And I was just talking about the 12 flyovers and what could have been. But I just talked about unemployment before the break. So let's look at poverty and insecurity. Another issues plaguing River State. So imagine in Igbo Eche, for instance, where kidnapping and all of that. Imagine we develop that area in partnership with private investors so that the people there can work. Maybe get some company to invest massively in agriculture. I hear Eche is very rich in agriculture. Imagine that for a second, so we can have more of Eche Gari, which brings me to the cassava processing plant. What's happening with that one? But that's a conversation for another day, right? Or imagine we had gone to the Awuda region, which is so big. And you see, these places that I'm calling, they are not small communities. They are massive regions that can reduce the population in Port Harcourt and Obiakpo, which, by the way, 12 flyovers was intended to do. Yes, Imagine, I know the government thought about it, and so they took university campuses to some of these regions. Yeah, I get it. But could we have done more? I'm sorry. I'm asking like Oliver Twist. I'm really sorry, but then that's my unpopular belief, right? Could we have had more? I am a River State indigene. I've lived most of my life in River State. I am doing business and I'm working in River State. So I guess I have the right to ask these questions, right? And it's a very ample time to ask the questions because we're done with the political season. This government is outgoing, so it's not about politics anymore, right? It's about development. It's about asking the questions. Now, it's not about bad belly like we say in our local parlance. But could we have gotten more as a people? Because we say democracy is government by the people, for the people, of the people, under the people, on top the people, basically the people. So should it not be about the people? Should governance not be about what benefits the people? And if I am a member of the people, then I can ask questions, right? I'm happy about the flyovers, don't get me wrong. I drive by Location Junction, and the traffic that could have kept me there for 2-3 hours is no longer in existence. I'm happy about that. I'm not joking. I am very happy about that. But I'm also saying, if we had developed HA, the Calabari axis, which is my place, if we had developed Auda axis, if we had developed help me now, Bonny Island, if we had developed and you see, there was a time the government was talking about building some connecting road from Obiakport to the One axis, and I remember I used to have a radio program then, and I clapped and I said, wonderful, that would be a great one. These are the kind of projects we would like to see, projects that are opening up places so that development can get to those places. And why am I talking about this? I recently saw an advert on social media about what do you call this thing now? Real estate in Bonny, and I realized what we could have achieved if all of these places were, not necessarily like the capital Port Harcourt, but were as buoyant economically. Do you know what that means? That HA is known for agriculture, for instance. Bonny is known for gas production, which will supply to a large extent the gas turbine that would have been built in places like Oyibo, for instance. And if Oyibo has the gas turbine, it means that power will, be somewhat steady in River State. Someone once said I sound like someone who just came into Nigeria, who has not lived in Nigeria for so long. Maybe I'm sounding too optimistic. Maybe I'm having a utopian vision. But isn't it what it's supposed to be? I don't know. I'm just wondering. But that's where you come in, to help me wonder, to help me think, to help me come to a place of epiphany. That's where you come in, to help my revelation cook so well that I begin to see clearly. All right, that's where you come in. Could there have been more? Or do you think this is okay? 7 billion on an average, multiplied by 12, somewhere within the region of 84 billion naira, if my mathematics is that good. I did that off the top of my head, so I do not really know if that's accurate, but 84 billion naira, yeah? And if that is the case, could we have done more? Remember, that was even before the federal government refunded the 78 billion naira. I really think it was 78, right? Yeah, 78 billion naira. That was before the refund. We could have done some economic, what's the word now? Economic revolution. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. We could have achieved some economic revolution, overtaking Lagos as the economic capital of Nigeria and even Africa, and even compete with places like Dubai. Investors who are trooping to places like Dubai Ghana, Rwanda would then think of Nigeria as an investment destination. By the way, if you do not know, investors are beginning to reduce. Foreign investors, that is, because I did see a statistic some time ago, about 2 weeks ago, where it says foreign investment is on a decline in Nigeria. But these are the issues. We could have taken advantage. But, in Nigeria, we tend to blame the federal government for our woes. We focus only on the federal government, which I agree they have a large portion of the blame to bear. But hey, the subnationals, including the local governments, have a role to play. And that's why, on my unpopular opinion today, I am x-raying the 12 flyovers and what could have been. Do you think there is a what could have been? Or do you think 12 flyovers, superb, and nothing could have been better? All right, 0817-923 0002. That's the first number for you to call. 0817-923-0002. The other number for you to call is 0817-923-0003. Once again, 0817-923-0003. For WhatsApp and text messages, you can use the number 0809-030-6416. Let's hear from you. We're live on Facebook, Nigeria Info PH, and on Twitter, Nigeria Info PH. Drop your comments. I read them. You also be reminded that after the major news, which will come your way by 6, we will revisit this conversation when it's time for the open season, or because it will be time for the open season. All right, I'm ready to take my first call, but I would start with this message that says, you sound like Oliver Twist. All right, for some reason I can't. Okay. Government is a yeah. Where is he now? Where is it? It's a government is a continuum. All right. And incoming administration should continue from where the outgoing administration stopped. Nobody knows it all. Wike has done his best. All right then. All right, thank you very much. But I've got D from Eneka calling in. All right, D, thank you very much. 92.3.
Good afternoon, Kalada.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, D. Welcome.
Thank you. I think your popular opinion is in line. I think I buy that popular opinion as well.
Okay.
Yes. The 12 flyovers are good. But from my own unpopular opinion as well, I noticed that the economic situation of this state is on a high decline. Yes, somebody can argue that we don't have traffic on the roads, but I can attribute it that people are no more in Port Harcourt.
Really?
We have lesser cars now, because I remember between 2000 and 2010, if you are going from, I'm staying in from Eneka towards Air Force to Transamadi, you see tons of cars on the road. Because somebody could say it's because we are no traffic, no traffic. But I can tell you because there's nothing much to even go in that part of the world to hustle for. Because if you go to Transamadi, virtually all the major companies are more left Port Harcourt. Even the major businesses, shops are more. Somebody can argue that, but that's my personal opinion.
Yeah, your personal opinion. I was going to say that.
The money they use in flyovers, yes, building flyovers is okay. But is it the in thing? Are we better? Because of the poverty in the land, insecurity is on the rise. In short, sadness is on the ground. And everyone is just being agitated. Even a common man, the small topic that we can just, even small things will just spark all kind of negativity and anger from people. Because all is not well. Yeah, I commend the governor. for doing that.
All right.
But that is an infrastructure. But I think on human development is much more better.
All right, then.
We're talking about Lagos, We have a lot of locations in Lagos that are developed. But Port Harcourt is only River State, Port Harcourt and Lagos. Outside that, nothing. What is wrong with the opening way to achieve? The countries Port Harcourt make people life easy so that people will fight for themselves.
All right, then.
That's my own popular opinion.
All right, thank you very much,
and
D.
That's only my take.
All right, thank you, D from Eneka. Victor calling from Rupoko. Victor, good afternoon to you.
Not Victor, it's Pastor Peter.
Oh, sorry about that. A mistake then. Sorry about that. Okay.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Canada.
Yeah. Peter, good afternoon.
Okay. Yes, thank you. I think my own personal opinion is that the outgoing government, they did absolutely well.
Okay.
Yeah, they did absolutely well. All of their projects, their insights, some of the roads that I witnessed here in Port Harcourt when I came in, that recently, the kind of work that the governor did on those places is really marvelous. That's the truth.
Okay.
But talking of foreign investors and investors coming to River State, the major issue that I see is insecurity. You understand?
But that's what we're talking about. That's what. Sorry, Pastor Peter. That's what we're talking about. Could that money that was used to build these magnificent flyovers, like you've put it, could it have been used to put in economic projects that would have bettered the life of the people, and thereby reducing insecurity and poverty?
I don't think that. For me, I must tell you the truth, Mr. Canada. I don't think that the area that you are going to is absolutely, it's not really the fault of the government.
Okay.
A lot of people here in River State, especially the youth, they are not ready to work. And that is one of the truths we must tell ourselves.
Okay.
For instance, I'm from Bayelsa State. I came into River State to do ministry, and when I look at the things that are happening, I dive into farming. You understand? All by myself. And I think I'm doing well because with what I'm doing right now, I have been able to create maybe 1 or 2 jobs here and there.
Okay.
You understand? Okay. If we have our NEPA system working, that is the light working, and there are securities, that is, a kind of a security system to curb this kidnapping and some of these cult-related crimes. I think River State will be a place for people to come and invest and do a lot of things. It's not actually that we really need a mega project by the government, because the government has its own foresight.
All right.
And they are following that up, and I think they have done well.
All right, then.
The incoming government is what we are going to encourage to dive into those areas, which I believe is never too late.
All right, then. All right. Thank you very much.
So that's my contribution.
Thank you very much, Pastor Peter. Thompson from Abarud.
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Welcome. Let's talk.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So my contribution is that I want to say that the governor has actually did well.
Okay.
In terms of this flyover is doing in this state. But right now, if you're remotely, so for now, we usually have so much hold up sometimes in some area in River State.
Okay.
So right now, if you're driving around town, before the blink of an eye, you just find yourself to wherever is your destination. So I think in that area is perfectly okay for me.
All right then.
And so in terms of making the comparison of the price different of the flyover of what they are doing in River State or maybe some other state.
No. I'm not. No.
Different companies as well.
Thompson.
Like Jorosbega, what they are doing here.
Thompson.
It might be different from what another company is doing in another state. And
Thompson, can you hear me?
Sector also matters a lot. Where you're having a building in a place where you have a normal land.
I would have to let you go now. I'll have to let you go. Thompson, if you can hear me, I was not talking about I was not comparing prices. I was not talking about comparison between this state and another state. I only mentioned that in passing so as to stop people from talking about it. I am looking and focusing on River State and River State alone. I've got Obed from Uniport. I'm sorry, Thompson, I had to let you go. I guess you couldn't hear me, and it wasn't good for proper conversation. Obed, good afternoon.
Yes, Canada. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, Canada. I think
Please turn off your radio set. Obed, you know the rules.
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Go ahead.
Yes, I think the administration actually concentrated on more on flyover. I'm not saying the flyovers are not good.
Okay.
But I think attention would have shifted to in creating other industries, which of course would have reduced insecurity.
Okay.
Because with what we know, insecurity has connection with unemployment. And somebody talked about rivers were not ready for work. I don't think that. I think that is not true because I am from Rivers State. I know I'm ready to work. You understand? So Rivers people are ready to work. Now, if you say Rivers were not ready for work, there was a statistic that Rivers State is the second highest or the third highest of unemployment state in Nigeria.
It's currently among first 6. Just leave it at that.
Yes, currently among 6. Yes. So you cannot say there is job, then people are ready to work. There is no job. The government did not make any effort. Look, there was an industry that was started by past administration. That industry was left to in the state of moribund.
Now, Obed.
Yes,
let's do it like this. Yet again, I'm not comparing. I'm not here to compare.
No. I'm not comparing. No.
All right, please.
No,
go ahead.
I'm not comparing. What I'm saying, if part of that money was channeled to revitalize such industries, you understand, it would have at least given employment. You understand? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say. So there was more concentration in building flyover than every other thing. That is why we are. That's why we are still where we are. So you cannot tell a man who does not have a job to go and climb flyover. What is he going to eat? You understand? So these are the things we are talking about. So I think I'm not underestimating the flyovers are good, but I should have shifted to other areas. Let me stop here. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Obed. Zion from GRA is standing by. Good afternoon to you, Zion.
Yeah, good afternoon to you. I think I will score government with the A1.
Okay.
In its approach to governance.
Okay.
Look at the aspect of road. For any economy to thrive, you need road. For any industry to be cited and be functional, you need road. And Governor Wiki has done that across the 23 local government areas.
Okay.
Look at the Port Harcourt. The truth is this. If you travel to other city or other state capitals, you would appreciate Governor Yusuf.
But yet again, I'm not talking about other state capitals. I'm talking about, that's the thing. We don't derive standards. Okay, go ahead. You're coming from where? Let's hear you.
As an approach.
Okay.
So before I leave this conversation, let me be honest with you. When you try to talk back to your callers, we don't hear you through our phones. So your engineers should work on that. So when you are talking, you see they are not hearing, they don't listen. No, not that they don't want to listen, but they don't hear you.
Okay.
Through the phone when they are online with you. So your engineers should take note on that. So why I bring this issue of the state? We are talking about the work of Governor Yusuf Wike now. To be honest, there are certain cars, exotic cars, I'm seeing in my area now, which we don't know people have those cars. Why? Good road. Look at the area of engaging Nigerians or rivers to job. Yes, so Governor Yusuf Wike gave us the Real Madrid Academy. Do you know in the next 10 years, the superstar...
Oh, sorry, we lost the connection there. But Zion, I think you missed the conversation. I'm not yet to say Governor Wike did not or have not done anything or did not do well in governance. That's not what I'm talking about. I am saying, looking at this particular set of projects, could it, and you see, we criticize the federal government for being below par. But what do you think the federal government's focus has been? Building rails, refurbishing roads, Lagos Ibadan comes to mind. These have been the focus of the federal government. And we have said, could he have first of all started with projects that will bring out money, bring major revenue to the coffers of the Nigerian government? And then from there we begin to... I've not said the flyovers are not good. I've not said the railways are not good. I've not said we should not build Lagos Ibadan Expressway. No. I mean, I'll still be the one who will come and criticize, right? But I'm asking the question, could we have done XYZ first so that we can then generate enough money and then begin to build all these other things? Mayor is calling from Romolumeni. Let's listen to Mayor. Mayor, good afternoon.
Yeah, Canada, good afternoon.
Welcome.
Well, I think there should have been some level of balance then.
Okay.
The flyovers is good. They are good. At least they add value to the cities or the local governments where they are situated. Business will thrive there with time. But that's not enough to compare with the amount of money. If other things were done with the same amount of money, jobs would have been created.
Exactly my point.
Although it can be argued as it was when these projects were going on that people were doing jobs there. But now, where are they? Those that worked on the ones on Aba Road, are they not jobless as at the time?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Hello?
I said not necessarily. They might be, staffers of the company, so not necessarily.
No. They are not attached. Those jobs were just, contracts, and it has ended.
Okay.
The building of the flyover has ended, so those people will go back to the labor market. But if there was a way of balancing, there were institutions that were already created in the state. There were places that this money would have gone into and absorbed many persons from the labor market. So if we put these things side by side like this, we'll see that not enough was done on just flyovers, and nothing come out. It doesn't bring food to the table of everybody. So that's my own view. And the amount of money would have been recycling, people would have been working and creating more revenue from to the state. So it's not enough for that amount.
All right, we lost the connection there. We lost the connection with Paul too. Paul from Akpadre was calling, but if you can do call back. Let's now dwell on messages now. Let's dwell on messages. This one says, Kalada, the truth is we the electorates are the problem of ourselves. I still believe that if we elect a leader, things will work out. Governor Wike haven't spent such amount on one bridge tells a lot about him. With the resources in River State, there is no state-owned company. The cassava processing Kiniko at Oyibo Alpha. Governor Wike and the incoming Signalaye and even Yen Biasa should please do something that will benefit the people and leave white elephant projects. Gifts texting from Yenagua. This one, not for me, but I'm going to the next one. Greetings to you, Kalada. The truth remains that the building of bridges in the name of flyovers in River State was not intended for the ease of traffic or any kind of development, but occupational, whereas the monorail that could have provided job opportunities was used to play politics as, okay, I'm not going to use that word, was neck deep in blackmailing the past administration while draining the commonwealth of Rivers people. But the end justifies the means, as many more questions will be asked in the nearest future. Chile Edwin with that one. Inamdi is calling from Rumigbo. Hello, Inamdi.
Good afternoon, Kalada.
Yeah, good afternoon to you. Let's talk.
Okay, my opinion is flyovers are good, but in our case here, did we need to spend less? No, the figure you gave for was about 9 flyovers.
According to Business Day, 69 billion was spent on.
Yes, okay. According to Business Day. Business Day gave that figure for 9 flyovers. For 13 flyovers, River State has spent about nothing less than 131 billion. And just like the last caller said, the flyover they finished in, let's say, Rumokoro 1 year ago, the guys that work there, they are gone already. They started looking for jobs. If River State brought out, let's say 50 billion to provide 30 megawatts of power to the industrial area that we have in Port Harcourt, do you know what that would have done for us? Do you know what it would have done for businesses there? I am not saying flyover is not good, but the mentality of governors in Nigeria is usually legacy projects. They most times don't look at projects that improves livelihood and business, which should be the job of the government. We are not condemning the flyover. In some cases, to be very honest with you, for instance, some of them I felt were unnecessary. A typical example is the one at location. Once it rains, it absolutely does not change anything. And we have spent nothing less than 8 billion there. It does not change anything. If you're coming from, what is it called? Adajo, you're locked. You're coming from Rubukuta, you're still locked. If these things, just like you were also giving an example for modular refinery, these things would have given us job. Even if the government does not spend 100% of the fund on all these projects, if the government comes and says, I'm spending 40%, you will see private individuals that will make up the 60%. Imagine River State owning a modular refinery by 40%. But thank God we are having this discussion and we're on the verge of having a new administration. I just hope people are listening. Of course, because somebody can wake up again and tell us he's doing flyover again at Rumo Corona. That one is done and dusted. So people that are coming should look at things that will improve livelihood and businesses. Simple. We are done with flyover now, I think. We should start looking at things that will open up River State for business and development.
Do you see that happening in Namdi? Do you see that, playing out?
I don't have an option than being hopeful. Okay. Just like I said, thank God for opportunity like this, that people are beginning to say it out. And I want to believe one or two people who are close to the government that is coming, or even people who are going to be part of the government that is coming, are listening. I know Nigerian people have a very wide reach.
Okay.
They should understand it. They should feel the pulse of the people. They should also feel what people are hopeful of. This time around, not flyovers, unnecessary flyovers, but things that will open up the state economically. The government might not provide all the jobs. How many teachers can you employ and all that? But open up the state to attract investments and jobs.
All right. Thank you very much, Inamdi. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Inamdi, there. And I do agree with you. I mean, I commend the construction, wonderful, magnificent. I'm looking for adjectives to describe it. And I'm being sincere, really. I mean, if you ask, I could take an oath to just show you how sincere I am about it. But the truth is, could it have been more if we had used it for other economic projects? Could we have been the economic capital? Anyways, I'm done talking. I'm going to read some more messages. Government is continuing, but Governor Wike should implement the workers' promotion and pay rise, as well as issuing promotion letters to civil servants before leaving office by next 2 Mondays. Victor from Igbema. All right. This is good afternoon, Kalada. Remember the flyover Rumala couldn't have been built with 7 billion naira because Rumala flyover already existed and was a sort of renovation, John Atali. But he expanded both. It might. I don't know. It might. It just might. So does it mean that the River State government can build a refinery? And what will happen if the state should build it for itself? Promise Wachuku from Omagwa is asking. Okay, thank you very much. This one says, good day. He said there's an occultic power hovering around River State, so there can be development, because if they do it, it will be against the oath they took. So for this reason, they can develop. Morgan with a funny contribution there. Okay, all right then. This says, good day, Canada. All what you said in your unpopular opinion are very correct, but come to think of it, if your unpopular opinion were carried out by this administration, there would have been other areas of the same unpopular opinion. The government tried in a way. The incoming administration will also do what will be subject of unpopular opinion for other people. Ima Otaka in Choba. All right, thank you very much. And this one says, Canada, you're thinking right, but not as a politician. However, the governor could have been able to build modern refinery, real estate, agriculture, and even hospitals if there was the willingness to prudently manage both internally and statutory monthly allocation among other aids and grants that comes to River State government, Ibifubara. But Ibifubara, I'd like to point out to you that certain hospitals were built, right? Certain hospitals were built. So let's get that one right. On Facebook, Wogu Chukwuemeka Wolu says, thank you for bringing up this conversation. Please, for me, the governor has done well in these areas. Those who do business around these areas will also attest to the fact it has helped in the ease of doing business around town. All right, thank you very much. But that's the much that I can take. Canvas is up next. That's after the business news at 4. So you want to stay tuned. Quality conversation still coming your way. Trust me. So stay tuned.